Our next segment is the Dystopia Corner. I'm kind of bad at naming segments, so I'm just going to call it the Dystopia Corner until I think of something better. I have 3 news stories here that really signal the dystopia that we're living in. And these this isn't exactly like Marxist dystopia. It's not about material conditions being hell. We already know that. This is about the dark future we're moving into. So I'm talking more like Black Mirror style dystopia. So the Serbian president Aleksandar Vučić gave what has been called a, quote, very dystopian and creepy, end quote, political rally, where he spoke on a large, fancy TV set. It looked like a reality show, while monitors broadcasted an audience in their individual homes behind him. So he's on this stage, looks like a reality show.
This is crazy.
Behind him is a wall of screens with people at their homes watching him speak.
But I'm glad to be coming through your television screen wherever you are.
The people at home were constantly clapping. So it was just a wall of people clapping behind everything he said. And not only that, but the audio was on, so you could hear his voice booming and echoing through the people at home. It's not exactly that crazy or anything, but you should go find the video. It does have that Black Mirror vibe to it.
Ja verujem u vašu energiju, ja verujem u vaš rad, u vaš trud, ja verujem u Srbiju, ja verujem u svakog srpskog čovjeka i znam da možemo da budemo bolji od drugih. Pokazali smo to prethodne 3 godine i to možemo i moramo da nastavimo.
Something that is infinitely more alarming in a material sense. Singapore sentenced a man to death via Zoom call for a heroin transaction in 2011.
We sailed tonight for Singapore.
Singapore has a zero-tolerance policy for illegal drugs and has hanged hundreds of people, including dozens of foreigners, for narcotics offenses over the past decades.
What about drugs? You doing some of that crack cocaine? You on the pipe?
Now, not only is Singapore's drug laws absolutely dystopian, I mean, they're kind of not even dystopian, they're more just relics of the past. The sentencing someone to death by hanging from a Zoom call, that is the really dystopian element. The fact that you can be sentenced to death remotely, that's crazy. And I get why countries like Singapore have such strict drug laws. I mean, one of the biggest reasons is that drugs have been a tool for imperialist control in Asia. I mean, at least since the Opium Wars, probably even earlier. And so drugs mean something different in East Asia and Southeast Asia than they mean to the West.
Oh, East? I thought you said West.
They're a foreign interference destroying the local population. It's a tool of imperialism. That is how a lot of Asian countries see drugs, and that's why they have such stringent drug policies. At the same time, I'm just completely opposed to this. I try to not judge other cultures, but come on, dude.
Dude, what does my tattoo say?
Sweet!
What about mine?
Dude, what does mine say?
Sweet! What about mine?
Dude, what does mine say?
Sweet! What about mine?
Dude, what does mine say?
Sweet! What about mine?
Dude, what does mine say?
Sweet! What about mine?
Dude, what does mine say?
Sweet! What about mine?
Dude!
And our final story in the dystopian corner, a former NBC executive named Chris Kitsa, who founded beforeitsnews.com, one of the earliest and more successful fake news websites,
You are fake news.
assumed a leadership role at the Epoch Times as the news outlet ramped up its pro-Trump messaging after the 2016 election. So this guy's been working for Epoch Times for a long time. This isn't news. This was just uncovered. The Epoch Times is the media apparatus of the Chinese nationalist pro-Trump group Falun Gong. I'm sure you know a lot about Falun Gong. I'd like to go into them on the show at some point, but the dystopian part of this is the guy went from a purportedly mainstream legitimate news source to making a completely fake news site, to then going to an institutionalized fake news site that is backed by Trump, supported by state apparatuses. I mean, Epoch Times, they do like 70% of the ads on YouTube or something. It is basically fake news fully realized and given a sense of legitimacy. I mean, the main reason they get money from the State Department, I'm not alleging that they directly get money from the State Department, but I'm speculating that they probably get a lot of it indirectly. The main reason is they've learned that Falun Gong in the Epoch Times is one of the best ideological apparatuses they have to proliferate a Cold War with China.
The mainstream media continues to spoon-feed the masses soundbite clickbait.
And that's that for the Dystopia Corner.